Thank you, Jason David Frame.
And Mr. Saban.
That's Tom.
And that's Chris.
Decca, what's today's episode?
Find your weapons and get ready to battle because today's episode pits foot soldiers against each other to find the ultimate warriors.
It's an old-fashioned tournament, so stay tuned.
It's PRNT time.
Hi, this is Chris from Chris Cantada Force, and you're watching PRNT.
Welcome, Rangers,
To this episode of
PRNT,
your source for all things
Power Rangers.
On this episode, we created a tournament-style bracket where we put foot soldiers from all seasons against each other and then discussed and eliminated them until we had an overall winner.
The way we decided each battle was by researching each group of foot soldiers, identifying the pros and cons, and discussing who would win.
Now, since there are only two of us, we felt we needed a third opinion to help us make our decisions and to break any ties, so we picked our winners based on a majority vote. And to bring in that third person, we picked our friend, Josh Wentworth.
You mean the guy from the Wentzillah Reboot?
Right.
And from Power Rangers 365.
Uh-huh.
Isn't he also an admin for the Ranger store?
He is.
Well, shouldn't we give him a shameless plug?
We just did. Anyway, to start this tournament, we filled in a bracket by randomly generating a number which corresponded to a group of foot soldiers, and then we went from there.
So let's get this tournament started with our first matchup. Moogers from Samurai versus the Putties from Mighty Morphin.
We went with the putties because they're easily made, they can be recycled to make new putties, so the sheer number of them would win this battle.
For our next battle, we have the Hideax from Mystic Force versus the Cyclobots from Time Force. We went with the Cyclobots, obviously, because they do have advanced technology, being from the year 3000 and all.
Yep.
They're also robots and can be easily created. Also, you can fit very many in a small space because they can compress and travel easy.
After that, we looked at the Lava Lizards from Operation Overdrive and the Rinchi from Jungle Fury. We chose the Rinchi because they can shapeshift and they have staffs that fire energy and are able to easily become beasts.
Yeah. Next, we chose the X-Boards from Super Megaforce to defeat the Batlings from Lightspeed Rescue. The X-Boards are intelligent, they have clubs that fire lasers, and there are a lot of them.
Our next battle saw the Quantrons from In Space defeat the Putrids from Wild Force. Because of those huge blades that the Quantrons have, and the fact that the Putrids are not used very often, so they probably have very little to no combat experience.
Next, we chose the Stingwingers from Lost Galaxy to defeat Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Putties. Because of their ability to fly and the fact that there were so many of them, as we saw toward the end of Lost Galaxy.
The next battle in the arena saw Bruisers from Super Megaforce defeat the Lugis from Megaforce, which was obvious because both Rangers and foot soldiers had to become more powerful between Megaforce and Super Megaforce. So we thought that the Bruisers automatically had to be more powerful.
Right. And in our next battle, we had the Spike Balls from Dino Charge defeat the Cyclobots from Time Force. The Spike Balls had to be super powerful, fighting for the Dino Charge team, who we saw all of them had super strength, whereas the Time Force team, the only one who had super strength was the Yellow Ranger. So we figured the Spike Balls had to be stronger than the Cyclobots to begin with. That's why we went with the Spike Balls.
Right. Tyrannosaurus from Dino Thunder over Rinchi from Jungle Fury was a result of our next battle, because the Tyrannosaurus traveled by Invisiportal, and the mobility of the Rinchi were limited to like a hopping motion, which would make battle movement extremely difficult.
Next, we saw the Crybots from SPD defeat the X-Boards from Super Megaforce. Mostly because the abilities of the blue and orange-headed Crybots which always gave the Rangers a really hard time.
The Grinders from RPM were sent packing after being defeated by the Chillers from Operation Overdrive because the Chillers were able to pretty much freeze all the Grinders into submission.
In our next battle, it's a Zordon-era battle. The Cogs of Zeo defeating the Quantrons of In Space because of their ability to shoot lasers from their eyes, and the Quantrons' inability to stop Cog aerial attacks.
Also in the Zordon era, the Tango Warriors of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were able to defeat Divatox's Pranatrons from Turbo because the Tangas are described as the fiercest warriors of the universe, and because the Tangas had the ability to fly and drop Pranatrons to their doom.
Bruisers from Super Megaforce clipped the wings of the Stingwingers from Lost Galaxy because of the dual energy cannons and their ability to transform into cycle drones.
Spike Balls of Dino Charge handily defeated Tommy's Tyrannodrones of Dino Thunder because of their strength and their training as prison guards.
The Crybots of SPD defrost the Chillers of Operation Overdrive again because of their sheer strength of the orange-headed Crybots, which, by the way, one of the orange-headed Crybots almost defeated 2 Rangers by itself.
In our next battle, the Cogs of Zeo plucked the Tangas of MMPR out of this competition because the Cogs are robots, which means they can be manufactured at the rate of about 1 per hour, while the Tangas, they take a long time to hatch. It seemed like it took forever for those Tangas to hatch once Rito put them on the moon.
But what if the Tangas use the swooping technique like we talked about before and catch one of the Cogs?
Okay. Well, remember we mentioned that the Cogs have those laser eyes. Okay, so if they're flying along, they just shoot that Tang with their eye lasers, and both of them, of course, will probably be destroyed. But again, the Cogs are manufactured, so there are more of them. Bruisers of Super Megaforce punched their ticket to the finals after defeating the Spike Balls of Dino Charge because of their advanced Royal Guard training, which is security guard training of the Spike Balls. It just can't compare to.
In a battle of robots, we have the Crybots of SPD defeating the Cogs of Zeo because Cryobots have that future technology and more mobility, which the Cogs can't defeat.
Our final battle pits the Crybots of SPD against the Bruisers of Dino Charge.
Oh, wait. Okay. So there's something I've been wanting to do for a few episodes now.
And you're choosing right now to do it right when we were going to find out who wins our foot soldier battle.
Oh, why not? You know how I love building suspense.
Okay. What was it you wanted to do?
All right. Well, I want to personally thank the Facebook site Power Rangers TZE, the Zordon era and beyond, for their constant support in promoting our stuff by sharing our links. Please check them out by following the links in the description. You'll also find all of the Josh Wentworth links there in the description as well. Also, be sure to tune in tomorrow on our Facebook page at 3 p.m. Eastern Time to watch us give away those Power Ranger Funko Pops to 4 lucky subscribers live from the PRNT studio.
Okay, can we continue our battle now?
Oh, yeah, we were doing that, weren't we?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so, who wins? Bruisers or Crybots?
Being completely transparent, the Crybots of SPD defeat the Bruisers of Dino Charge because, to be honest, this isn't even a competition.
When we were first looking over the stats of each group, it was obvious that the Crybots would be a fierce competitor and would go far if they didn't win the whole thing.
Alright, now we're going to tell you why we feel the Crybots are going to win this competition.
One reason is because of the many varieties of Crybots there are. There are whiteheads, blueheads, and orange-headed Crybots, with each one being more powerful than the one before it.
The Whiteheads are your basic foot soldiers, the Blueheads pilot the giant robots and are Grum's personal guards, and again the Orangeheads are so powerful that one of them almost defeated Jack and Z with little competition from them.
Also, they are robotic, which means they can be manufactured, they don't feel pain, and we even see them being recycled. If one blue-headed Crybot fails, Grum simply crushes it and creates a new blue head from the leftover parts. So congrats, Crybots, on your victory.
We know we went through this list very quickly, but there were a lot of battles we had to get to, and we didn't want this to be a half-hour-long episode. So if you felt we went too fast, you maybe missed some of our points, feel free to watch this episode again and again and again.
Do you agree with us, or do you feel one of our battles would have ended differently? Please feel free to write in the comments below and tell us what you think. Who is the supreme foot soldier? Thank you so very much for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing this video with your friends.
And don't forget to ring that bell so you'll be notified when we upload new videos to YouTube.
If you go here, you can like us on Facebook.
If you go here, you can follow us on Twitter.
And if you go here, you can follow us on Instagram.
Remember, as we sign off, our hope is that the power will always protect you.
Let's power down.